All right. Hello, everybody. Wendy and I are already cracking up and laughing at the beginning of this episode. Y'all missed it because I hadn't hit record yet, but we were laughing about this best kept secret I have to share because I was like, why is my hair so fabulous today? But then I remembered it's because I'm one of those ladies that wears a bonnet. And I was laughing in bed last night at myself, like, does that make me old?
You know, it makes you cool as I was whipping out my bonnet too. So,
Make my hair fabulous. And so Wendy was just sharing with me how she just learned from friends who had like been keeping this a secret that bonnets are a thing that we should all be wearing and sleeping in because then you wake up with hair like this and like that. So you're welcome, everybody. It's no longer a secret. We're telling everyone, tell all your friends about the bonnet.
I will totally admit I may have actually washed my hair for you today. So I cannot say that this is a direct result of the bonnet right now.
But I will say her hair is going to look just as fabulous tomorrow because of the bonnet. Okay. So hello everybody. Here we are. I like to fill everybody in. Today, the recording date of this episode is actually February 27th. You're not going to be listening to it, audience, for probably 6 weeks or so, because I have kind of a backlog of episodes to release. But I like to kind of give you that timeline of just kind of where we are in life, because you're all just kind of walking alongside me in my journey. So that's the update for me. I'm doing well. I just got back from a retreat where I got to meet lots of interesting people and learn some new coaching techniques and got coached by an amazing coach on my grief. So that was amazing. And I can't wait to talk and share Wendy with you today. Maybe one of my kept secrets, but I'm going to share it. She's so fun. And I can't wait to see what happens in this episode. Wendy, I love to hear how I always ask people, please tell me about yourself instead of me telling the audience about you, because I love to watch people talk about themselves. I think it's so fun to observe. So I'm handing it over to you. Who are you? What do you do? Why are
Oh
you?
my God. Okay, so let's just all acknowledge that moment of like cringiness when it's like, and now you have to talk about yourself. And I'm like, oh God, which version am I gonna do? Like, there's which thread, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
It always happens every single time. Like, oh, okay, now the spotlight. One of my favorite ways to introduce myself now is, hi, I'm Wendy. I am a girl who loves black coffee,
Mm.
long dog walks, and the sound of laughter. And I was like, oh, yeah, that's everything. That's all you need to know about me. Because I think we can build so much from right there. And a lot of this actually stems from all the different roles. So, by training, I'm a pediatrician. I'm a mom. I retired from the Navy. I was in Navy medicine for 20 years. And one of the other things that people don't see coming is that I am an improv comedian. And I use that phrase lightly, okay? Because I have taken a lot of improv classes. I have integrated improv into my life. Yes, I get on stage. I will do shows, at the theater. But more than anything, I've taken improv away with me off stage. And I weave it into my medical practice. Oh, by the way, totally didn't even mention, yes, I'm also a coach. I weave it into my coaching practice, but I weave it into my life. And one of the things that I learned, and we always learn from when we mess it up, was about that, like, how do we identify ourselves? How do we introduce ourselves? What character are we going around as all the time? And I'm going to tell you the full story because you know what? Why not? So I was in a scene with a friend of mine, Patrick. Patrick and I were told we were going to be nuns in New York City. So all of a sudden, we put our hands together, we put our eyes to the sky, and we're looking up, and we were at the top of the Empire State Building so that we could be closer to God, of course. And we're just talking about how much we love it. And all of a sudden, we were like, stop, stop, stop. Our mentor stops us in the middle of this. He's like, what the hell are you doing? We're like, well, we're nuns in New York City. Like, we want to be closer to God. He's like, yeah, this is the lamest scene I've ever seen. Nobody walks in and introduces themselves by what they do.
Ooh.
And he says, I'm a shipbuilder. You probably don't even know that. I'm like, no, I had no idea you were a shipbuilder. No clue. He's like, because that's not how I show up.
Mm.
That's not how I am in spaces. And he's like, nobody does that. And meanwhile, I'm like, hold my beer. Are you kidding me? Doctors do that.
Yeah.
Parents do that, moms in particular. Like, I've got all these different ways that I've always led in a scene, whatever scene, in our lives with, hey, I'm Wendy. Yeah, I'm a pediatrician. I'm a mom. I'm, whatever it is,
Yeah.
whatever setting, I always led with one of those two identities and then, got all the other ones down the way. And so he was like, go back to the scene and I want to know what's important to these nuns. I
Mm.
want to know what they're passionate about. I want to know all the different things about them, who they really are, not what they do. And of course, I heard this loud and clear. It's emotions. It's all about emotions. Like, what are the
Yeah.
emotions that they have? What are their values? What are their strengths? What's driving them? I was like, oh my God, of course. This is all the stuff I need. And it's just integration. I'm begging, borrowing, stealing everything from improv into life.
And integrating it into life.
Oh my God, all the time.
Mm. Now it makes me wonder, as you say that, I wonder if sometimes those two things can be one and the same, like the way that people introduce themselves can sometimes, like if you introduce yourself as a mom or a coach, it can also be the thing you are actually interested and passionate about.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
And I hear myself with yes and, which of course is also my practice from improv. There's no one right answer with any of that. It's not like I can't go in and be, well, I'm a doctor, I'm a coach, I'm, whatever it is. I still am.
Yeah.
I still am. And I think what it really helped me start thinking about is kind of oh, it's interesting. I'm hearing the echoes of a friend of mine that I work with who does a lot of design. And he says, I don't want to know what it is. I want to know what it does. And
Mm.
so that same type of thing about how we walk in, like not
See.
what it is that we are, but what do we do in the world? How are we in these spaces, which can never be narrowed down to one word? Me being a physician, what does that really mean?
There's so much more to that. Okay.
Oh, there is so much more, which is what it's, I mean, that's how this has all just been unleashed with kind of seeing the parallels,
Mhm.
seeing the overlaps, all the meta learning and borrowing from here and borrowing from there. And I mean, that's how we got to be together way back when, because I was like, I feel like I'm boxed in here, man. Let me out. Let me out.
Yeah. How with what you're describing and how you've been able to integrate, that improv into every aspect of your life, how what was it about me reaching out asking people for help on my grief journey? How, like, I'm dying to know what happened in Wendy's brain where she was like wanted to be a part of that.
Okay, so first of all, anytime you say something, I'm like, yes, please, let's hang out. Okay. So the first part was Sarah.
Mm.
And the other part, so, like how I said that when my friends said, we want to know what's important and how they are in the world, and I was like, emotions. And so what I heard was emotions, grief, we think of as well, so many times we think of so many different emotions as big and hairy and scary.
Mm.
And I play with emotions all the time, not to make light of them,
Right.
but to be able to kind of touch on them, to kind of just play, which is what play is. Play is like, let's just kind of see what's there. You know what? We don't have to go there. We can just kind of mess around with it a little bit. But it's something that I've been doing so much practice in the community with talking about emotions so that we can break down barriers, whether that is in the medical office, in our families, in the community, for ourselves. And I play with emotions so that we can become more comfortable just being with them, including the full range of emotions.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And even as you say that, and I've been noticing this about myself and mentioned this before, it's not just the quote unquote bad feeling, negative emotions that can be uncomfortable. Like I've not, like sometimes I'm uncomfortable being really really ecstatic or, euphoric about something like, whoa, that's a little much. So that's really interesting too.
I think we do that a lot, and I'm gonna speak about we with me.
Yeah.
Also noticing being afraid of success,
Mm-hmm.
like being afraid of the bigness,
Yeah.
the expansiveness. That's kind of scary too. And so it's not just, oh, I failed, or, or grief, or disappointment, and things that we're like, oh, I just don't want to. It is the full range.
Yeah.
And I always talk about the roller coaster of emotions. I'm like, all right, that's it. Strap me in. I'm going to be on the full roller coaster. But how many times I just want to be on the little dips? Oh, just a
Mhm.
little bit happy, a little bit nice, a little bit down. I'm okay with that. But no, it's the full shebang. And when we really get to, explore all of the emotions, it's that much richer.
Mhm.
Oh, that much richer. My heart is going on all of this right now as we're describing this. Oh my
Oh,
goodness.
it's so funny though. Even as you talk, I'm like, yes, like logically, I'm like, yes, richer, more. But physically, I can feel myself, but not so much.
Yeah.
Hold down. I'm not, it's so fascinating. And I'm that way a little bit like with anger. I'm just like, I don't like allow myself to go there. And then on kind of on the flip side of that, like, like joy. Not and to me, sometimes joy is just very calm and peaceful, but I'm talking about joy as in like the, you know, also like don't like not going there. What is
I've never heard joy with a question mark at the end of it, like you just said it. But yeah, you're like, joy? Like, don't know. Yeah.
hmm? Yeah. Yeah. It's fascinating. So what I'm so curious to see kind of like what you do with me. How do we play? Like I want to play with you now though.
Oh my gosh.
I
Well,
feel
first
like a
of all, I
little
just
bit,
want to acknowledge
yeah.
thank you, because I want to play with you too. And, so we met up ahead of time, and I wanted to be very honest and straightforward because um, I, I'm not trying to make light of emotions.
Right.
And um, especially as, we were connecting because of, being through your loss and your grief. And I want to acknowledge that this is something that I'm grateful to kind of put it out there. There's a time and a place for everything.
Mm-hmm.
And, kind of giving that time. I'm so grateful that you've had that time to kind of lovingly process
Mm-hmm.
and, to work through all of the acute emotions.
Yeah.
And I'm just going to acknowledge right now, this is a little bit separated in time. So I appreciate you talking about, kind of where you are right now, where we are in this timeline and the chronology.
Yeah.
And so I'm just kind of putting that out there. The
Yeah.
other thing about playing is that, um, there's no mandatory play. Like if there's anything that it's like, yeah, you know what, no, I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
That's totally cool because again, it's play.
Hmm.
You always have that full ability to say, yeah, no, this is not what I consider play. I'm out.
Okay.
Totally legit.
Okay.
That being said, how about this? What I do is I really kind of just start talking with people, just like we're doing right now. And I'd love to just kind of introduce a couple of different games that I play with folks. And I totally put it out there, games.
Okay.
And this is stuff that I will do out and about when, this particular example, when I go to different community events, health fairs, different, um, just basically community outreach types of events. And I have my spinny wheel.
Nice. Okay.
My spinny wheel, which of course, here, let me get this a little bit. And I will challenge parents. I'll say, I've got a magic trick. You want to see it?
Of course.
You're like, are you kidding me? So right away, curiosity.
Hmm.
Ooh, what is this? What is this? All right. And then we're just going to play around a little bit. So I'm going to ask you, what's your favorite thing to eat?
Mm. Right now, it's vanilla oikos protein yogurt. It's so delicious. I love it.
Vanilla oikos protein yogurt. Okay, I'm going to try to remember all of this.
Vanilla yogurt.
Help me out. All right, how hard do you want me to spin it?
Just like medium.
Medium.
Perfect.
I have several versions of this that have like gone away because 8-year-old boys go up and they're like trying to prices right it,
Yeah.
all over the place. Okay, so that was such a satisfying sound. I love that sound. Okay, so you got excited.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So tell me, as you're, kind of thinking about your vanilla oikos protein yogurt,
Good job.
thinking about that, what is it that you can tell me that you feel excited?
Mm. I feel excited about like the flavor, like my taste buds going off, when the flavor hits my tongue, the coolness of it in my mouth. I feel excited knowing that like this is the protein one, so I'm getting some protein today. Um, I feel excited that my body agrees with it, like when I eat it versus if I were to eat, maybe a super sugary brand, I would feel sick and icky. This one, I feel good. I feel satiated. My tummy is happy. Um, yeah.
Okay, this is the most extensive love that I have ever heard about vanilla protein yogurt. This is awesome. Okay, so you're looking at all these different things, like the tingly. I totally felt that, by the way, in my mouth as well. So
Yeah.
that sensation in your mouth, the taste, knowing you're taking care of your body. This is the one that's got the protein in it, which it sounds like this is kind of like the way you're taking care of yourself.
Yeah.
All of that leads to excitement.
Yes.
Ah, beautiful. And you are like lighting up.
Yeah. It feels good. Yeah.
Right. So let's just imagine, okay, we have the same yogurt, and let's just say same beautiful bowl of yogurt. What is it that you can tell me that you feel nervous?
Okay. Nervous. Okay, I feel a little bit nervous that, it's yummy and I'm gonna eat too much. I'm gonna eat it instead of eating something else. So it's gonna like kind of take away the variety of what I would like to have in my diet. I'll use it as a little bit of a crutch if I'm feeling lazy and don't want to make something else. It's so easy to just grab the yogurt and fill up on that again. My goal is to have one serving a day, not 3.
I love it. Okay. So you have a lot of experience with thought work. You have a lot of experience. noticing that you're not changing the circumstance. And a lot of people, when I practice with this, they're like, well, I don't know where it came from. Okay. But I love the way that you're like, no, we've got a given here. It's the vanilla protein yogurt that I love so much. And yet looking at where it is that you're focusing.
Mm.
Is this something that's replacing something else?
Mm.
Is it something that I'm missing out? I'm kind of nervous about that.
Yeah.
And so, what we're doing is kind of going back to where emotions, we talk about, emotions being about, our thoughts, creating our emotions. But I love the way that Lisa Feldman Barrett talks about how emotions are really something that we're either anticipating the future.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I do
Or,
that a lot.
yeah. Oh, this is going to replace something. I'm going to miss out on something. Oh, interesting. You're like getting all up in that future stuff.
Yep.
Kind of nervous about that.
Yeah.
And then the other side is, we can either be looking at the future or we can be looking at the past. And how many of our memories are really where our emotions are coming from.
Mhm. I do that too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's great because, right, like how often is it really like in the present moment?
Yeah. The present moment.
Hmm.
And it's interesting as I think about, how many of these different emotions, and, I always play with food
Yeah.
because it is like the entry point. Everybody can start talking about food.
Yeah.
So it's just our love language. But it's something about how we're always going to the future or to the past versus, kind of like that. What does it mean to be like right here? What does it feel like? What do I feel right here, right now?
Yeah. And you're making me even sit here and wonder if when I'm actually eating the yogurt, am I actually sitting there truly enjoying it? And it makes me want to like have like slow down a little bit.
Yeah.
Huh. Hmm.
What are
Okay.
you noticing?
Yeah, it just reminds me of something that this retreat that I was at this weekend, the guy that put it on, he talked about this exact thing about like, when he goes to put something in his mouth, it's almost like, people watch him and they're like, you look like one of those guys, like when they first open the bottle of wine, but he's doing it with a strawberry, like smells it,
Mm.
takes a little bite, rolls it around the tongue, decides whether or not he actually wants to swallow it. Like all of this. And I'm like, gosh, when I eat a strawberry, I'm like, nom, nom, nom.
True. Yes.
It's this delicious thing in my mouth. So yeah, like just the same, that's what made me think the same thing with the yogurt. I'm like thinking about how much longer I could actually expand that experience by actually sitting and enjoying it in the moment.
Mm.
So interesting. Yeah.
Fascinating. Yeah.
And where else? Of course, now my brain, of course, where else can I do that? Okay. So continue because you said
No,
that.
but I want to know where else can you do that?
Yeah. Well, you said the starting off point with a lot of people is kind of with food.
Mm-hmm.
So now, yeah, now I'm not sure. I'm kind of hitting a blank now. I think because I wanted to go into like maybe my grief or him or something and be like, but then I was like, I don't know. Do I want to go there?
Well, and noticing. So there's something where you're seeing the possibility, like,
Yeah.
oh, I wonder where else. And yet sometimes I feel like we're trying to like, okay, well, I'm going to use this and I'm going to like use it as a band-aid to fix everything else. Like where can I use this right now
Mhm.
and go with it versus just offering, we're having some fun. We're just kind of playing with this. What about just playing with it
Yeah.
without it being kind of like the tool that I have to apply
Mm,
somewhere else?
okay. Fair. Yes. And that's definitely like kind of called out my brain there and what my brain does with a lot of things, even with this grief. I was like, I immediately dropped into, how am I going to use this?
And I mean, I guess part of that may even be, part of the way that things are being set up today. Like, hey, by the way, we're coming in, we're doing this. Well, how does this apply to grief?
Hmm.
I, I'm just going to offer that it doesn't have to be this like direct line.
Yeah. Okay.
And especially as, we're kind of playing and exploring, it could also just be, hey, notice what I can do over here. And I kind of like doing this right now.
Mm-hmm.
Where can I just kind of play without having to make it become some kind of surgical instrument that you use somewhere else?
Okay.
My analogies do not always work. So,
Right. That one worked.
oh my goodness. So, parents, well, actually, kids look at me after we do this
Mm-hmm.
and they're like, so what's the magic trick? And the parents look at me and they're like, you just got him talking about his emotions. You totally just did it. I can't do that. How'd you do that?
Yeah.
And so it's just play.
Mm-hmm.
It's food. It's food and play, like together,
Okay.
just kind of opening that up.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, is there maybe another situation or, I don't know, something else you want to play with? Anything at all?
Well, I wouldn't mind with you now expanding a little bit on what I'm now seeing as play with what this coach did with me this past weekend, which was, I started talking about my grief and I was like, you know, in kind of like the sadness and the unfairness of it all. And then he would ask me a question like, tell me about his eyes.
Mm,
And then I would be like, it would like allowed me to, I'm going to use the word play now. It allowed me to play in that space and it elicited like completely different. I mean, I lit up. Yeah. And I can even remember, I think I remember the next day him saying something to me like, I think he may have even used the word play. He goes, but I would invite you to kind of play in those spaces a little bit more, where I was able to light myself up, from a question that he asked me. So it would be interesting to expand on that because I have not played in it again yet.
yeah.
If that makes sense. Did that?
Yeah, I'm just so struck because I'm just jumping in right now about how that's such a beautiful kind of like change, like an abrupt change, like, oh, just tell me about his eyes.
Yeah.
And just switching that emotional state because of, perspective or, where you're focusing, but how powerful that is.
Yeah.
How powerful. What did you experience in that moment?
Well, it was like, I'm trying to think of like the moment. Of course, I'm out of it. So I can sort of look back and be like, oh, I see what he was doing there. But in the moment, it was like my brain just like did this 180. It's like I wanted to be down in this, don't you feel bad for me, kind of place. And then it was like a glitch in my brain. He'd ask me that question. And then it was just like, I couldn't help but just like feel drawn into it. And then it was like kind of an out of body experience. I could almost just observe myself answering that question and I couldn't help but smile.
Mm.
I like wanted to I didn't have my phone on me, but I wanted to like pull out a picture and be like, see, look at his eyes, and then I told a story, I was like, like fell into it. And it was weird. And then eventually though, as I got into that, like I could feel myself turning back and going back to like, no, let me take you back here though. You're like, yeah, this was great. This was really fun to tell you this amazing story. But then it was like, but then my brain goes, but yeah, but he's not here anymore. And it would take me back into that space. And I think he would, I think he was playing. It's like he was like massaging that like sort of back and forth again, I think at the end to sort of demonstrate to everybody and to me that I can do that too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's so beautiful because I hear the invitation,
Mm-hmm.
the invitation to play. And then in that space, being able to tell stories,
Mm-hmm.
which anytime we're telling stories, I mean, there's creativity involved. How are we going to weave this together? Of course, there's memories,
Yeah.
tons of memories that are coming into that. Well, you just kind of get to play with it and kind of massage your own, like, how am I going to tell this story? Whatever that is.
Mm-hmm.
That's a part of the play, like where we get to expand upon it. It's not just about our, you know, the abrupt answers, tell me about his eyes. They're brown. Yeah, they're brown. There's so much more to it. Let's play as we explore that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so,
I think you as the coach and him too. It was the way that he asked it too. And that's the same. I get that same energy from you as well. It wasn't like he was like, what color eyes did he have? He was like, tell me about his eyes
mm,
while looking deep into my eyes with genuine like interest. Right. And that I think is like, was part of kind of so it matters, like the tone, the all of that. I noticed now, like looking back, like that mattered. If he'd just been like, tell me about his eyes, I probably would have matched that energy. Right.
okay, so this is bringing all sorts of things in.
Okay, fun.
So another thing so I think of the rules of improv, and I kind of mentioned like yes and before,
Mm-hmm.
kind of acknowledging what is and building off of it. Oh, we could probably geek out about that for hours. But the other one that I hear is always make your partner look good.
Mm.
These are like the top two rules of improv that you go into any kind of class. And I have thought about this so much about like what does that mean to make your partner look good?
Mm-hmm.
And how do I do that when I'm off stage? How do I embody that in relationships?
Mm-hmm.
And so, what I'm hearing, the way that I'm kind of translating that is that, that attention, okay, making your partner look good as if there's nothing else but what you hold the answers to. You
Yeah.
hold all of it. You are the most fascinating person in the world. That eye contact, that invitation to play. Because I think that making your partner look good is about the co creation,
Mm-hmm.
creating that space. It's not about the answer, it's about where this is going.
Yeah. So good. Yeah. Yeah. And yeah, I mean, I can see even just like how not relationships, with my kids. I even noticed since I got home, I'm looking like I'm leaning in more, really. Yeah, like asking more questions, being more interested. And I can see it even starting to like peek in through my coaching as well, with my clients, tell me more about that. What is, like leaning in, just like that. And it does feel playful.
And
Even
you
if
light
it's
up
heavy.
as soon as you do that. You're like, tell me more about it. And you're like, your eyes are like, boo, there's sparks going off here because there's more. There's more that's coming.
Mhm. But yeah, but I do feel that from you too in that invitation, even if it were like a heavy topic or something, the way that like I think it's invitation, but also interest. And I'm guessing like when you're talking to a parent or a kid, they feel like you're interested in them,
Mm,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
So I'm weaving everything together today, so I have no idea where this is going to go. But I think that part of it, there's a little voice in the back of my head that's saying it's about not being afraid
Mm.
of what what you're touching on here. And I think that that is something that has really kind of evolved. So whether we're talking about medical practice or, coaching practice, coaching, I I believe coaching is a language and that we learn to speak the language. So more so than a practice, it's about a language that we speak where we're open, inviting, and also where we get curious about emotions because of the possibility that's there, where so many people that are not familiar with it kind of feel like if I ask about emotions, it's going to be like opening Pandora's box and it's all going to come out.
Yeah.
And we'll never be able to stuff it back in by the end of this visit. By the time I have to go pee, by the time we have another meal, whatever it is, like there's always this whole like, I don't have time for this.
Yeah.
And I think that, this is something where the more that we play with it, the more that we realize there's nothing to be afraid of.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And how
Right.
does
I'm
it
learning.
actually make things connected, that we like open things up because we can talk about it, we can ask about it, get curious, and also say, you know what, yeah, no, I'm not touching that today.
Yeah, and that is a really important one, I think, that I had to learn along the way. At the beginning of this journey, I was pretty freaked out. Like I was like, okay, I'm here for it, but I was so scared about what was going to happen. And along the way, I've learned like, oh, I can just lean in a little. I can always come back out to my little safety zone, lean in a little, come back out. So it's making me want to like play with your wheel, not only to have it as an example, but also to just remind myself, if I'm thinking, if he's the yogurt and you spin that wheel and I tap into that emotion with whatever the circumstance is, can I dip into that and then come back out and
Mm,
just like see what that experience feels like?
yeah. And I'll offer,
Mm-hmm.
that's where, again, it doesn't have to be going and playing with, you know, the deeper types of emotions, like the ones that were like on the really high highs or the really low lows,
Okay.
because that's where we're just kind of playing. And we know that we can apply things from other areas in other areas of our lives, from one area to another. It doesn't mean that we have to go there
Yeah.
and be in that space to do it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, not saying that we don't, there's no rules. There's no rules of improv. There's no rules of this. But I just offer that because a lot of times, again, people are like, okay, but now I want to do this, like
Mm.
dive right in. I'm like, it's okay. Take our time. We got plenty of time to play.
Yeah.
Plenty of time. How about this? Okay. You can totally steer wherever we go with this.
Okay.
Okay. You can totally drive. Maybe we'll do just something a little bit different. Okay. As we're kind of driving, I have no idea how this is going to wind up. We're just going to
Okay.
play a game. Okay. So, how about this? Let's say, I don't know, let's just start off with something. Tell me about your morning.
My morning today. Ooh, I got to not set an alarm, which is awesome because then I just get to, I love like not having to wake up at a particular time because sometimes I don't sleep that great. So if I get the option of staying in bed, cool. If I wake up early and I want to get up, cool. I like that flexibility and freedom. So this morning, I didn't have to set my alarm. So I just got to wake up whenever, happened to wake up at like 7:21. And then I got to do a meditation, and it was just a very just kind of peaceful, quiet morning where I got to just take my time and get ready slowly. And yeah, it was nice.
How are you feeling right now with that experience that you've had this morning?
Yeah, it feels very calm and zen and free and Like there's no worry.
Mm.
It's just, I'm having a hard time putting just like one word to it.
You're
I feel,
sampling here.
yeah. How do I feel right now? Just peaceful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So we're going to play a game.
Okay.
Okay. That we call new choice.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you feel peaceful, and I'm just going to shout out new choice. Okay.
Okay.
How else could you feel if you were a character? So, again, this is borrowing from improv. If you were a character who got to have this, you were having this peaceful, like sleep in whenever I get up, doing it on my time kind of morning, what's another choice that you could feel right
But it's
now?
the same morning. Like, okay.
We're just gonna build off of it.
New choice. Okay. Anxious.
Okay. Ooh. Okay. And why are you anxious?
Yeah. Anxious. I don't know. Well, anxious. Same morning, anxious. I don't know what to do with my time. Uh, maybe I
Ooh,
should.
okay. So I'm gonna pause right there.
Okay.
New choice.
Okay. Oh, pick a new emotion.
Yeah, new one.
Okay. Doubt.
Ooh. And why is that?
And questioning like if I'm using my time wisely or, and I guess it's similar to what I just did, using my time wisely. You know, should I walk the dogs first or wait till later? So yeah, there's a lot of like doubt and confusion and questioning
Okay.
with
So
that.
how about this? New choice.
Hmm.
See what comes up. You know you wanted to spin it again. What is it? Ooh, so joy.
Ooh, okay. I have like the freaking best life. I love my life. I love the freedom that I have and the the non like genuinely I don't have. I was just picking like doubt and anxious thinking about maybe how I would have been like a couple years ago, but
Mhm.
now like I can have a morning where I'm like I don't know what to do. Awesome. I get to do whatever I want. What do I do? Like,
Okay, so there's somebody in the background of the audience saying, new choice, new choice,
okay.
just because she wants to spin it again. Let's see what comes up. Ooh, curious.
Oh, curious. Okay. Yeah. Ooh, I woke up earlier than I thought I was gonna. So then I get to like, kind of play with that. Ooh, what do I feel like doing? Ooh, I wonder if yeah, stay here and maybe do a meditation. Or I wonder if my daughter's up. Let's go see. I wonder, I have coffee, right? Yeah. So I'm curious about like just how I'm gonna use my time.
Oh, interesting. Okay, one more, new choice. Let's see what comes up. I'm so honored that we're not duplicating anything today.
Oh,
Okay, you know what? We're gonna put it there. Okay, sad.
sad. Okay. Wow, I woke up alone.
Mm,
What more can I say?
yeah,
My partner's not here.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Interesting.
Do you feel another spin coming?
Yeah.
Okay,
One more.
she's
One.
putting that out there. Right. New choice.
We done the
Satisfied.
we go. Satisfied?
Satisfied.
Oh, yay. Yeah, that's an easy one. Yeah. Satisfied. Mm, I got enough sleep.
Mm.
I feel good. I feel rested. Yeah.
What'd you notice going through the new choices?
Ooh, yeah. It was like a little roller coaster.
Yeah.
And it was pretty like, it wasn't like, like super crazy. There was a little bit of a dip, right? Like in that sadness. And I even had like some tears well up in my eyes. It's just so fascinating how we demonstrated so many different in like in such a short amount of time. I think that's going to be really fun for people to watch and for me to listen back to and play with going forward. Like that was cool.
So this actually stems from an improv game that is totally called New Choice. Like
Yeah.
you're going through a scene,
Yeah.
and then somebody has like, like one of those diner bells, and
Mm-hmm.
ding, they just hit the bell and they yell out new choice. And whatever it is that the person was doing on stage, they have to go through the catalog of new choices. So you know, if they were swimming,
Yeah.
they say new choice, all of a sudden they're marching, and then they have to justify it. Well, why is it that their character is suddenly marching
Okay.
or going on stairs or whatever it is? And I started using this more and more around emotions. When a character says this is how they're feeling, okay, I'm angry,
Mm-hmm.
new choice. I'm frustrated, new choice. I'm elated, and this is why. And then we keep on going with the scene. Like, just kind of part of what comes up in improv is whatever choice you make, you justify it, which, as we're going back to the model, thinking about, that emotion. Well, why? Why is it that I feel that way? What is my perspective?
Mm-hmm.
Which is totally what you were doing there. You're
Yeah.
like, this is what I'm anticipating. This is what I'm grateful for. This is, the memories that I'm having. This is where I am right now.
Mm-hmm.
And so just touching on those. And I love the way that in improv, it showed me how you can go through it rapid fire.
Yeah.
And it doesn't take all day to get into an emotional state. You're like, okay, I am boom, 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 whatever it is. I'm really disappointed because.
Yeah.
And I think the work on stage has really been able to show just how we can play with it in real life, in our day to day, and just to make it, I don't know, more, I want to say the word accessible, but just something that we can touch on it. And we can even say, yeah, sad.
Mm-hmm.
Sad is in there too. There are
Yeah.
tears in there too. And it's part of the whole, I'm always going with the rainbow, kind of stuff, but the whole rainbow of emotions, they're all there.
Mm-hmm.
They're all there.
Yeah. Together. And at the same time, like, and I think we demonstrated that it's like those were all options, like readily and easily available. And for if anybody's having trouble with the word play, I would invite them to maybe even just use like a word like touch on or explore,
Yeah.
right? If they're like maybe like you said, like 2 or 3 months ago, play would have been difficult for me to resonate with. But touch on or explore, or just take a peek at would have been easier. But yeah, wow.
I yeah, the other word that I use a lot is experiment.
Ah, yes, love it. Yeah.
And it just kind of depends on the background, as far as what kind of words work for folks. But,
Yeah.
everybody looks at me and they're like, well, of course you're a pediatrician. You're like all about play. I'm like, okay, well, let's just remember something
Mhm.
from pediatrics. When kids are playing, that's when they are learning and growing.
Mm,
It's not just for kids.
yeah.
And
Amen.
I think that there's so much that kids, um, there's so much like that kids hold this secret for us that we have to just unlearn all of this adult baloney, to be able to just go back to, well, kids have got this locked on. We don't have to be afraid of it. It's not discounting all the things that we know as adults, all the things that we've learned. And yet, how can we just play, explore, experiment, touch on, oh, I don't know, practice? Like, what are the other different words that just might resonate? And it may even be, yeah, not right now, not ready for this right now.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's never play when it's mandatory. Like, I'm just putting that out there. It's
Okay.
not play.
Yeah. If you have to force it,
Yeah.
yeah, no, that doesn't feel like play or exploring or cure or any of that. Yeah.
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 Thank you for playing with me.
Thank you. Oh my gosh, it was so fun.
Oh my gosh, I love this.
So what would be like parting words? I mean, I know you just gave some, but is there anything sort of like if you could sum up in just a couple sentences of what you want somebody to take away from this? Well, I know, sorry, that's hard, but
No, I just like, I do not play poker well. So you can always tell what's going on. When that hit me, like, oh man, I think it's just really this possibility that, you know, we're just exploring this together right now. Had no idea. Like, I had a couple things like, hey, these might be game options that
Mhm.
we might get to, that we may, you know, do this, but we're just co-creating this right now. And it's really coming back to connection, which is everything that I do. It's all about connection.
Mhm.
Connection is an emotion. I will go to my grave saying connection is an emotion.
Yeah.
What is it that you want to connect with?
Mhm. Amazing. Yes.
Play just gives us an opportunity to just kind of try it on,
Mhm.
try different things. We never know. Oh my God, I've told my kids so many times, you cannot tell me what you like or what you don't like until you've tried it. You cannot tell me you don't like it if you've never done it.
Yeah.
I don't know that. You don't know that. And so that's where we're just kind of opening up possibility spaces
Mhm.
to be able to play, to be able to see how does this, you know, fit for me? What does this feel like? And actually playing with emotions, which again, there's no Pandora's box. I see playing, touching on emotions, you know, exploring that, and also having conversations about emotions as another way to be able to connect with another person.
Yeah. And that's what's been so meaningful and joyful about our interaction is that I feel so lucky because I've gotten to sit here and connect with you.
And
Like
likewise, I mean, I'm just having the time of my life over here with you. So this is fabulous.
that's the perfect word, the perfect like takeaway. So, Wendy, if are you like what are you doing? Are you like taking clients? Are there if people are like, I love this person, I need to be in front of her and play. Are you doing that? And if so, how can they find you?
I'm doing this. Okay. I play with a
Yes.
lot of people. So
Okay.
so it's funny. So I have been working on so much of my messaging lately because folks are like, I don't understand what you do. You know, you work with parents, you work with physicians, you work with adolescents. I'm like, listen, okay, it's not about who I'm working with. It's about really, I work with folks who want to explore emotions,
Mhm.
to be able to create connections and healthier relationships. And so that looks a lot like different things to different people. And so really it's an invitation to explore. I help people with, you know, really addressing a lot of the anxiety, the worries that we have about raising a healthy family right now, parental stress, the stress that our kids are going through, and then all of the stress around our kids' weight. That's been the primary work that I have been doing over time about getting past all of this focus on the scale to really look at, well, what is it that we want to create for our families? And it's all about healthy relationships.
Yeah.
Guess what? That's emotions.
Yeah.
It's really looking at those perspectives that we're playing with and the emotions. It all comes together.
Okay.
It all comes together. So, yes. And of course, I weave humor and improv and lightheartedness and seriousness. And it's just the whole thing. It's bringing all these different things together because we can't stay in silos and say this is the way it needs to look like, especially with all the stuff about health. You
Mhm.
know, it's something that what we have been doing has not been working. And so we need to reach out to see what's working in all these different spaces and places and understanding ourselves, what I call, health from the inside out. Okay, there is the place, like really connect with what's on the inside.
Mm, love it. So if somebody wants to get in, what's your favorite way for somebody to get in touch with you?
Oh my goodness, just Google me. No,
Yeah.
just come on over to my website. So
Okay.
wendyschofermd.com. And I trust it's going to be in the notes
Yes.
here because, that darn C, people miss the C. So,
In Schofer, yes. Schofer. But yes,
there
it
you
will
go.
absolutely be in the notes. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
come on over. You'll be able to find all the different options, whether it's playing with my handy dandy
Yes.
wheel of emotions at home, all the things. So
Okay.
come on over.
Beautiful. And look at us. We did like exactly an hour. I didn't even have that planned.
Hey,
That's
how
amazing.
about that?
How about that? Let's go. My darling, it is a pleasure. It is a pleasure to know you, to be in front of you, to play with you. Thank you so much.
I look forward to our next play date.
All right. Mwah. Next time, Wendy. Bye.
Bye.